To celebrate, we've designed our booth as a walk through time, a living museum of what we built together. Each year, we'll spotlight a different decade of DC's incredible history as we change up our booth graphics, color palette, and even fonts and typography to reflect each and every different era. This year, we're honoring 1935 to 1945, the golden age, the dawn of the superhero era. And as you all know, those are the years that gave us Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, iconic characters who didn't just define comics, but drove modern mythology and reshaped popular culture forever. But these characters weren't created in a vacuum. They were born out of a world facing chaos, fear, and uncertainty, a world searching for symbols of courage, truth, and justice. Sound familiar? Sure enough, 90 years later, they're still here, still relevant, still inspiring. And if you do the math, yes, I've included math in this speech, that means in 2035, DC Comics turns 100. And yes, I fully intend to be here for that. Yes. Hopefully still drawing. Hopefully still not working on Hush 2. Yeah, too soon. Anyway, so let's talk about why we're bullish about the future. 90 years isn't just a milestone, it's a reminder that survival in this business is earned. Every decade in DC's history showcases our uncanny ability to pivot and create truly compelling stories which reflect the times that they were created in. The Golden Age captured hope in the shadow of war. The Silver Age reflected the atomic optimism and scientific breakthroughs in the 1950s. The Bronze Age brought relevance, social awareness, and rebellion. The 80s and 90s gave us reinvention, creators breaking rules, and readers demanding more sophistication. In the 2020s, well, we're still writing that story, and I'd say we're absolutely on the right track. Thanks in large part to our combined hard work and resilience and some creative geniuses in Mr. Scott Snyder and Josh Williamson. To find future success, it's imperative that comics continue to evolve and change, and that we, the caretakers, do the same as we stare down a troubling future. A future with many a storm cloud on the horizon. Challenges such as AI-generated writing and art, shrinking attention spans, characters drifting into the public domain, and that constant tug-of-war between digital and print. And here's the thing, every era has its killer bees. I don't know if anyone in this room knows that reference, killer bees, all right? Yes, so when I was a kid in the 70s, we were told swarms of killer bees were coming up from South America to take over and ravage the world. Obviously it didn't happen, but something I spent a lot of sleepless nights on. And then we were told Japan's booming miracle economy would overwhelm and crush all their rivals. That too did not happen. Then it was Y2K, then NFTs, and now it's AI. History has a way of humbling predictions. The future rarely turns out the way the headlines warn us it will. But let me make one prediction I know I can stand by today. DC Comics will not support AI-generated storytelling or art. Not now, not ever, as long as Andy Pease and I are in charge. Because what we do and why we do it is rooted in our humanity. It's that fragile, beautiful connection between imagination and emotion that fuels our medium, the stuff that makes our universe come alive. It's the imperfect line, the creative risk, the hand-drawn gesture that no algorithm can replicate. And when I draw, I make mistakes, a lot of them. But that's the point, the smudge, the rough line, the hesitation, that's me in the work. That's my journey, that's what makes it come alive. It's the product of true effort, of inspiration and perspiration. Fans know this, they sense this. They can feel when something was made with care, when it cost the artist time, energy, heart, and effort. People have an instinctive reaction to what feels authentic. We recoil from what feels fake. That's why human creativity matters. AI doesn't dream, it doesn't feel, it doesn't make art. It aggregates it. Our job as creators, as storytellers, and as publishers is to make people feel something real. That's why we create, and that's why we're still here. And yes, characters will fall into the public domain. It's already happening. We've all seen these unsettling knockoffs of Mickey Mouse lurking around online. But here's the truth. The character isn't the magic. The storytelling is. The world building is. Owning Superman isn't the same as understanding Superman, knowing how he moves, how he speaks, what he stands for. Anyone can draw a cape. Anyone can write a hero. That's been around as long as comics have been, and it's called fan fiction. And there's nothing wrong with fan fiction. It shows how deeply these characters live inside all of us. But Superman only feels right when he's in the DC universe. Our universe, our mythos, that's what endures. That's what will carry us into the next century. I also feel especially bullish about the future of the direct market and the magic you all bring to the table. The retailers, the shops, the community hubs. You are the beating heart of this industry. And when we talk about core fans, we're talking about your customers. When we talk about community, we're talking about the conversations that happen in your stores across the counters. The pull lists, the recommendations, Wednesday crowds, the midnight releases. That's the magic of the business of comics, and it happens because of you guys. I visited comic book stores all over the world, and no two are the same. Some smell like freshly bagged issues hot off the press, and some have a more distinct ode to vintage aroma, kind of like a wet newspaper smell. But every single one of them share the same heartbeat, and that is passion. And we share your sense of passion at DC. And as we continue to expand into digital comics, vertical scrolling comics, and kids' books, we do so not to replace you, but to grow the next generation of fans for both you and us. Because when someone reads their first comic on a tablet, we want their second one to be in your stores. Digital brings discovery, but you bring belonging. You turn casual readers into lifelong fans. And when fans walk into a shop, they're not just buying comics. They're walking into a piece of culture, a place that feels like home. You are the real world Batcaves, the fortresses of solitude, the watchtowers, where the next generation of heroes discover who they are. You guys turn stories into shared experiences, and that's something no algorithm, no app, no platform can replicate. So yes, this speech is unapologetically optimistic because you don't build 90 years of storytelling by being cynical. You build it by believing that the next story, the next hero, the next generation will surprise you and remind you why you fell in love with comics in the first place. That's what keeps me doing this. That's what keeps all of us at DC doing this. We're caretakers of something bigger than ourselves, this incredible shared universe that continues to evolve because of your dedication and your connection to all of our fans. And that's where our stories take center stage. The world needs more than ever stories about hope, compassion, and justice, the pillars of DC storytelling. We've been through reboots, relaunches, crises, literally crisis after crisis, and somehow every time we come out stronger in the end. In fact, every challenge, every disruption is an opportunity to reimagine what we do and how we connect. By 2035, I don't want to just be celebrating DC's 100th year. I want us to look back and say that these next 10 years ahead of us were when we built the foundation for the next 100. Because that foundation, the direct market, the fans, the stories, is still solid, it's still rock solid, it's still really sound, it's still really rock solid. So here's to the next decade. Here's to DC at 100. Here's to Killer Bees that never arrived. And to you, the comic book shops, the first home for every hero. Thank you for keeping comics alive. Thank you for keeping us honest. And thank you for inspiring us to imagine the next 90 years and beyond.